I'm not switching my team to some fancy work platform that somehow knows exactly how we work. And its AI features are literally saving us hours every day. We're big fans. And just like that, teams all around the world are falling for Monday.com. With intuitive design, seamless AI capabilities, and custom workflows, it's the work platform your team will instantly click with. Head to Monday.com, the first work platform you'll love to use.
If your roof starts to leak or your floor's really squeak, you live in a money pit. Money pit.
If your basement needs a pump or your place looks like a dump, you live in a money pit. Money pit. Pick up the telephone.
Fix up your home sweet home by calling 888-MONEY-PIT. The Money Pit is presented by Roof Maxx Roof Restoration Treatment. Now, here's Leslie Segretti.
Coast to coast and floorboards to shingles, this is the Money Pit. I'm Leslie Segretti, and as always, I'm joined by my friend Jim Kenzie. Welcome, Jimmy.
Hi, Leslie.
I'm so glad it is summer. It's warm. We're swimming. What are you guys doing this summer? Any big fun plans?
It's a lot of outdoor gigs, both playing and doing sound reinforcement stuff for other groups.
I love that. That's a lot of fun.
It's a great summer.
We are doing a lot of college visits.
Oh, yeah, it's that time, isn't it?
Sure is. Wow.
Boy, I remember that. Enjoy that. Have fun there, Leslie.
Yeah, let's distract ourselves, though, now with some fun home improvement talk, because truly, I can't even believe how quickly life is going and all of these decisions are happening. So let's think about some things that we can tackle and we can feel really proud of doing, like home improvement. Now, it's summer, so if your home has a pool, good for you. When can we come over? Jim can play a gig. I can barbecue for you.
Money Pit Serenade.
We will knock on your door and we'll have a great summer fun party. But truly, let's be serious here. If you have a pool, you know that a fence is integral in making sure that you have a safe time at home. But you may not know that pool fencing is very different and has very different requirements from any other type. So we're going to help you out with a pool fence checklist in a little bit. And also ahead, we have a great guest joining us to discuss an alternative to roof replacement that's way more affordable and environmentally friendly as well. We're going to welcome Mike Feazel from Roof Maxx in just a bit. And drywall repairs like fixing wall cracks, nail pops, and seams that split open can be a constant hassle for homeowners. But if you do them right, you're not going to be doing them over and over again. So we've got some tips to take care of those common fixes coming up. But first, we are here to help you. Have you started a project and you need some help? Are you planning a project and you want to bounce ideas off of us? Whatever you are working on, we can help. So call us right now at 888-MONEY-PIT. Jim, who's up first?
All right, Leslie, it's time to talk roofing, or roofing, as some folks say, with Kelly from Delaware. What's going on, Kelly?
We have a home that's a 2002. It's not architectural shingles. It's just the flat shingles. It's in a resort town, a lot of salt water. We're wondering if the shingle rejuvenation products are worth trying to attempt to get extended life on these shingles. I know Lowe's sells a brand, and I know there's a company out there that is like a national company that sprays a roof.
All right. So first of all, Kelly, at 20 years, your roof is getting to the end of its normal life cycle. So this could be a great time to explore this idea of a shingle rejuvenation. And we work with a company called Roof Maxx. And it could be exactly what you're talking about. It's roofmax.com. And we've reviewed their process. We have looked at what it does. And basically what they're doing is they look at the shingles. Are they dried out? Are they curling? Are they in good shape? There's sort of a checklist of things that they'll determine to say, like, hey, you could go with a rejuvenation project with Roof Maxx or not. They're not going to install this if it's not going to be beneficial. So they will come out and evaluate. And then what they're doing is resaturating those shingles with an oil. So it's kind of rejuvenating and bringing new life into that shingle. And you can do this treatment 2 times, and each treatment can extend the life of the roof about 5 years. So it's definitely worthwhile to talk to the folks over at Roof Maxx, have them come out, have them examine it, and see if it can make a difference for your home. I mean, it is a fraction of the cost of having the roof replaced. And think about all of how helpful it is by not putting all of those shingles into the landfills and sort of not recycling them properly and creating more waste. So if you can extend the life of your roof 5 years, 10 years, even better.
And Les, if they check out your roof and say, no, it's beyond hope, we can't help you with this product, they'll tell you need a new roof flat out, and they're not going to sell you the Roof Maxx product.
Exactly.
So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, these are stand-up guys, and it's a great, great product. And in the process of evaluating the roof, if there's any repairs that need to be made, they do that for you in the whole process of prepping the roof to be ready for the Roof Maxx Rejuvenation. All right, give them a call. Check them out at roofmax.com.
That's 2 X's, Leslie. There's 2 X's in Roof Maxx.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right, Leslie, we have a twofer. Martha is in Ohio on the line with a leaky door and a leaky window. All right.
Oh, lucky her.
If you're going to do it right. All right, what's going on, Martha?
We had some sliding glass doors in our family room that's paneled, and we had them taken out, and we wanted just a picture window in there. So when they came to do the picture window, they took the door out, the sliding doors out, and, the foundation was like, maybe a block or two up, and the, door had been left empty down lower. So what they did was they took 2x4s, I think it was, wood, and built up to the block level and then proceeded to put in the supports for the window. So now I made a flower bed out there, and now when the ground gets real saturated and water tends to puddle there, it runs under the wood, through the wood.
Well, it sounds like instead of building the foundation up with concrete block, which is what they should have done, they kind of filled it in with wood framing. Does that sound correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that probably wasn't the best choice.
Or do we need to start over?
Yeah, I mean, I would just start over because, it's kind of hard to advise that you seal something that wasn't done right to begin with. I mean, it really should have been concrete block. But having said that, if you're going to just trap that much water against the foundation, whether it's a wood patch or a concrete block, it's still going to leak. You just can't hold that kind of water against your foundation. And we tell you all the time here at the Money Pit that you should not have too much moisture building up against the foundation because it's just going to find its way into the house anyway, especially in an area where you live like Ohio. You're going to get a significant freeze-thaw cycle. And because of that, that water saturates the soil freezes, it's going to push inward on that wall and then weaken that basement wall. So what we recommend here is that if you're going to have a planter, you have to make sure that there's some drainage in there so that that water doesn't puddle up. Because if you do trap it against the wall, regardless of how you've built that wall, even if it wasn't repaired or built correctly, it's going to leak, it's going to cause damage. So I think the issue really is what you did after the fact more than what they did when they installed the picture window, okay?
Oh, okay.
Good luck with your project, and thank you so much for calling us at 888-MONEY-PIT.
Breaking up is never easy, but saying goodbye to your old clunky work tools? Well, that's easy. Just repeat after me. It's not me, it's definitely you. You rigid, unfriendly software. It's time to freshen things up with Monday.com, the first work platform you'll love to use. With stunning dashboards, customizable templates, and built-in AI that actually works, switching to a new work platform has never felt this good. So move on to Monday.com.
Hey, Money Pit listeners, if we've saved you some time, money, or hassles with your projects, you would totally make our day by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Just go to moneypit.com/review. Well, now that it's summertime, woohoo! Let's work smarter and not harder when it comes to lawn care. You want to mow high and water early. Set your mower blades higher, around 3 inches, because that's going to shade the roots and that's going to help retain the moisture, and water your lawn early in the morning to reduce evaporation and fungal growth. Your grass is going to thank you with greener, healthier growth. And who doesn't love a nice green lawn? I mean, Jim does for sure with all of his land in Michigan. Michigan, right, Jim?
That's my home state, but not my current residence.
I know.
I'm on the lam, Leslie. Jeez.
I just love to harass you about Michigan. I'm so sorry. I know you live in Ohio.
You know what? I deserve it.
All right. Well, you know what? You also deserve to give us a caller. Who's up next?
All right, Leslie, we're going out to Kansas to talk to Terry. What's going on at your money pit, Terry?
I have a stucco exterior on my house. Years ago, I had painted the outside, and it did not last on the stucco probably a month, and it came off in sheets. I had washed it, prepared it, everything that I know. I painted it probably in August when it was really hot out here. My question is, when is the proper time to paint stucco?
All right. So the last time you did a painting project, Terry, did you use a primer on that stucco or did you just paint over what was there?
I painted what was there.
All right. So if you just painted over what was there are a few things that could have caused this condition. First of all, a primer is super important because a primer has sort of different properties than the actual top coat paint does. It is specifically designed to have super adhesive properties. So it's going to stick and grab a hold to that old surface and then really bond to it. And then that's stuck there. And then the paint goes over it and really sticks to that. So there's different paint manufacturers, Benjamin Moore, Behr, Sherwin-Williams. They all have very specific products, and there is a Benjamin Moore product that's specifically made as a primer for masonry surfaces that's called UltraSpec. Now, the second thing is the temperature. You mentioned August, which could be really hot, and you know that the warmer the temperature, the faster the paint is going to dry, and that can also hinder the adhesion of the paint as well. And unfortunately, you've kind of found this out the hard way when it peels off. So to go forward, let's properly clean the surface. And when it's good and dry, then you prime it. But remember, don't do it during the super hot parts of the day. Don't do it in the middle of the summer. Fall is great on a weekend with no rain. Same kind of thing. So this may be something you just kind of put off till it's a little cooler and drier out. But if you see a good stretch where it's not too hot, you can go ahead and do the same. Now, you can apply it with a roller. You can apply it with a paint sprayer. Wagner makes some great paint sprayers that you can put on so it'll get good coverage. You can go on pretty thick to cover that. So it really depends. There's a lot of different ways you can approach this project, but primer is critical here to making sure that this project lasts. We'd love to lend a hand. I know this is going to be a project, but you'll be so happy when it's done.
Okay, thank you.
Well, now is the season for swimming and fun, and if you have a pool in your backyard, a properly designed pool fence is the most effective way to keep those small kids safe from danger. But pool fences aren't like any other type of fence. These are designed especially to keep kids out, and a lot of times people don't realize that it's a specific type of fence, and they put the wrong kind in. So first of all, fence height should be at least 48 inches, and the spacing between those links should be only 1¼ inches. And it's really small because you want to prevent anybody who might climb the fence from being able to kind of get their toes in and get a hold up so they can kind of climb over it. Now, these special fences are also required to have self-closing hinges to prevent those gates from accidentally being left open. And then the latches are special. And when that fence gate closes, that latch kind of locks in place. And it's not like officially locked. You kind of have to, it's almost like a child safety lock. You kind of have to twist and push. Like you can't just open them very easily. So for a kid, it's challenging. And that's important because you want to keep those kids out because pools look great to everybody. And a kid is just going to want to jump in and not realize that they can't really swim. Now, I've got some other pool safety tips to help you keep everybody safe this summer. Never leave those kiddos unattended. Always have an adult designated as the water watcher. Drowning happens quickly, and I think people don't realize that drowning happens very silently. It's quiet, and it happens fast, so somebody's always got to pay attention. You want to use safety covers and alarms. Cover that pool when it's not in use, and consider water surface alarms or gate alarms to give you that extra peace of mind. Get some rescue gear, keep it nearby, have a life ring, a reaching pole, a first aid kit accessible just in case there's any emergency. Establish pool rules. Even though it's your house, have some rules and post them and enforce them, like no running, no diving in the shallow end, swim with a buddy, don't pee in the pool. Whatever it is, make your list and keep it there. Also, learn CPR. You should try to make sure that at least one adult is on site who is trained in CPR. It can save lives in an emergency, and it is not difficult to learn, and your local Red Cross offers lessons very frequently, and it's just a few hours of training. Now, when it comes to pool chemicals, store them safely. They should be stored in a locked, dry place, away from the kids, the pets, and the heat. And also maintain that water clarity and balance, because that clean, clear water, it doesn't only look inviting, it also helps you see the bottom, and it prevents accidents and it prevents bacterial issues. Let's all do our best to have a safe and happy summer. All right, Jim, get out of the pool. Who's next?
Oh, Mom. All right, Leslie. We've got Catherine on the line in Arizona, and she's got a problem with sod. And in Arizona, the heat could be an issue there. What's going on, Catherine?
I live actually in the mountains in Arizona, and so our issue is not the heat, but the cold. And so what we've had happen is that we laid sod about 8 years ago, and unbeknownst to us novice homeowners, it had mesh netting on the back side of the roll. And I don't know if we were supposed to remove that or something, but now the sod did not take to our climate, and it has died, and we would like to reseed or lay down some new sod or something like that. But in order to prepare the soil and till it and all of that, I just don't know what to do, because there's this mesh netting all over the ground. And in some areas it's exposed, in some areas it isn't. But I just wondered what your advice would be.
First of all, I didn't realize it got so cold in Arizona, especially in the mountains. I mean, my goodness, you're kind of getting the best of everything, like beautiful landscape, beautiful sunsets, gorgeous days, cool nights, kind of a win-win for you there, but obviously not for the sod. So it seems like the sod never kind of really bit. I mean, it just doesn't seem to have grown through the mesh netting and connected with the soil below, right?
Not really. I mean, it did in some areas, but it just did not grow well for our climate. It couldn't handle the winters. It just wouldn't recover.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing you want to do when you're thinking of, resodding or seeding is you kind of want to do a soil test. And sometimes your county extension services and offices can come and do that for you. They'll test it, or maybe your landscaper can do the test. But if you know what's in that soil, you know how to adjust the pH to kind of get it right for that new lawn, whether it's sod or seed, to really, really take a hold. You want to make sure that you're fertilizing correctly. Otherwise, you're giving the food to the lawn that it doesn't need or want. So if you know what you're working with and not going in blind, you're really going to do a great job of making sure that lawn is fed well, that it will grow well, and those seeds or that sod will really take a good hold of everything. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is the timing here. It doesn't do well with the seeding or the sodding in the beginning of the summer. Kind of the best time is the fall, when it's a little bit cooler, because if it starts to grow in the intense heat and then it could burn out. It could kind of ruin all of that work you're doing. So maybe if it's super hot or you're going through a heat spell here, give it some time, gather some info, see what you want to do there, and then wait till it's more consistently cool and not such a big fluctuation between heat and cold at night. Do you also find that soil there, I mean, through what you've seen, has it been very weedy there?
There are lots of weeds. So it's not so much the sod that's the issue, but it's the plastic mesh netting that was on the back side of the sod roll that's there. And I just don't know, can we till with that there, or is that going to get all caught up in the tiller?
Yeah, I think what you're describing with the sod is that mesh backing, and generally those backers are meant to stay there. They're not removed. They kind of just deteriorate naturally as it's growing. So I don't think that would be an issue. Otherwise, how would you ever lay sod down? It just kind of wouldn't stay together, right?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know what was supposed to be common, just that it hasn't degraded at all. After 8 years, it's still totally there.
Well, here's an idea. One thing that you could do is you could rent a seeding machine that slices the lawn. There's machines that actually slice the lawn and drop the seeds kind of into the slits of your ground there. And it's really a good idea because it gets the seed where it wants to be. It's not going to wash away. But I think the first thing you have to do is that soil test so that you know how to grow it, you know how to take care of it. You want to do the work, but you want it to stick and you want it to grow well. And that soil test, whether you're going with sod or whether you're going with seed, is going to be that first key to making sure you're having a successful project. Now, when we're talking about the weeds, if you're seeing a lot of weeds, you could get a product called Roundup. Some people feel very poorly about that product because there have been some issues, but it is a very successful product in getting rid of weeds, poison ivy, things that you don't want. You just have to make sure that you really aim it well and that weed that you don't want will not grow back.
All right. That makes sense.
All right, Catherine, good luck with your project. Let's hope we hear more from you and you tell us all about your beautiful green lawn.
So, thank you.
All right. It happens to us all. You know, you see a couch, a lamp, a rug online that's just perfect for the room that you are working on. And then you see the price tag and consider your budget. Well, I'm going to let you in on a secret called dupe.com. It is ridiculously easy to use. All you have to do is type dupe.com / before any URL, and it instantly shows you similar products with the same look, but at more affordable pricing options. And these aren't sketchy knockoffs either. Here's the thing. Most people don't realize that a lot of furniture sold online is all produced in the exact same factories as those expensive name brand items. Now, those factories sell to different brands under different names who then list them for different prices. I have seen this all the time. Literally, I just bought a coffee table the other day for $99 using dupe.com that I saw on other websites for like $150, $250. And I kid you not, it was the exact same table. Dupe.com automatically lists these less expensive alternatives. You're going to get the look you want and the price you want. Dupe is one of the most viral shopping hacks on TikTok. Millions of people have already used Dupe to save money, and it's 100% free to use. That $5,000 cloud sofa that you just don't think you can justify, that beautiful mid-century dresser you've had bookmarked forever, Dupe is going to find a similar item, sometimes even the same item, for 60, 70, even 80% off. With Dupe.com, you can finally decorate the house of your dreams without going broke. Go to Dupe.com today and find similar products for less. It's 100% free to use, so stop wasting money on brand names and start saving with Dupe.com today. That's DUPE.com. Check it out today.
KFC Phillips are back. 4 delicious meals for just $7 each. That's great news for everyone, except the driver in F1 the movie who only gets 2.5 seconds for a pit stop. 2.5 seconds? That's not enough time to indulge in juicy original recipe chicken. Oh, and he's gone. Creamy mashed potatoes, sweet pie poppers, and a medium drink? Well, the rest of us can take as long as we'd like to enjoy any KFC $7 fill-up. Then see F1 the movie starring Brad Pitt. Only in theaters June 27th. Rated PG-13. Prices and participation vary while supplies last. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
We have the great pleasure of Mike Feazel from Roof Maxx. He's the co-founder and CEO of Roof Maxx, joining us, who got to spend a pretty fun and dirty day, let's say, with Mike Rowe of Dirty Jobs. So this is going to be confusing. 2 Mikes we're talking about. But Mike Feazel is joining us. So welcome, Mike. I can't wait to hear about this great day.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Leslie. Great to talk to you.
Mike Rowe is just an awesome dude. I remember before I got to meet him in like a professional sense, I was on an airplane with him, and he couldn't have been more lovely to everybody who had a million questions for this poor guy, just because he's a regular dude. So did you have the best day? And I'm sure, did he have a million questions for you?
We did. And like you said, he's just, he's very authentic. You know, the guy you see on TV is the guy that you meet when you're in person. And we had a lot of fun. So we spent probably 7-8 hours together, just Dirty Job style, going around with live cameras rolling the whole time and talking about all things roof rejuvenation, why shingles are failing premature today, and the solution that my brother and I created some years ago.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Why are roofing shingles just not holding up the way that they used to? Is it the way they're built?
It is the way they're built. You know, back in the mid-'80s when I got in the roofing industry all the way up till the early 2000s, asphalt shingles had about a third more asphalt than they have today, and that's the main component, right? Just like a road, as the oil dries out, you know, a new road goes down, it's nice black tar, and it starts to become gray over time as the oils dry out. It starts to get cracks, and then you get a pothole. As the oil dries out, that roof starts to break apart, and that happens to an asphalt roof, which is pretty much, 85% of all homes have asphalt shingles on them.
But with the construction of the shingles recently, it's less asphalt, correct?
Yeah, less asphalt just means that the oil dries out sooner, and like that road, needs to be replaced quicker unless you can reintroduce the oil back into it, and that's what Roof Rejuvenation and Roof Maxx is all about. That's why we founded this company.
How do you know when a roof is savable? I imagine you and your brother have come up with a whole system to really look at a roof and understand if it is savable with the Roof Rejuvenation, with Roof Maxx.
Yeah, great question. So we have a very detailed process of coming out and assessing the roof. All of our dealers nationwide are trained on how to assess a roof to see if it qualifies. The exciting thing is about 90% of the roofs that we look at, we're able to at least extend for another 5 years. And these are roofs that otherwise would be torn off and taken to the landfill. Yeah, and about 80% of the roofs that we look at, we will be able to give 2 treatments because we treat every 5 years. So we can take about 80% of the roofs out an additional 10 years, and then a smaller percentage we'll be able to take out for a third treatment and essentially double the life of an asphalt roof.
Now, generally, Mike Rowe likes to take on jobs that no one else wants to do. But the roofing industry is so interesting, and I think the process of building a roof and thus the process of treating a roof with Roof Maxx doesn't seem like the dirtiest job. So what was his opinion of the whole day?
Exactly that. Roof Maxx is just not a dirty job. Roof replacement is. And, it saves money, but it's very low impact on the property owner. Right? We're in and out in a few hours, saves money, keeps debris out of landfill. So no, we've got a bunch of footage that's coming out on our Facebook page. People will start seeing and are already seeing some TV ads as we roll out all of basically the day spent with Mike.
What did your dealers sort of get a sense? Was it, validating for them to know that they're really doing a great job and reducing sort of an eco footprint of what the roofing industry generally has an impact on when they're removing a roof? I mean, you guys really do an amazing job.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, the dealers were very excited about the Mike Rowe relationship, but not only that, and one of the things that Mike was excited about is, we're over 17,000 reviews and an average of 4.9 stars on Google and on the review sites. So, it's because our product works, it's because our dealers really care, and because we really hold them accountable to doing the right thing. And that's just through the training and the processes, making sure that, hey, if we make sense, then great, let's rejuvenate the roof if the customer wants to do it. But if it doesn't make sense, let's point them in the right direction. And let's suggest a replacement.
I love that, Mike. Thank you so much for joining us. We've been talking with Mike Feazel, the CEO and co-founder of Roof Maxx, who had a great day with Mike Rowe, learning that Roof Maxx really isn't a dirty job, which I love. So if you want to check it out for yourself, find a dealer in your area, see if your roof qualifies, you can head on over to Roof Maxx. That's Roof Maxx with 2 X's, MAXX.com, and get some more info and meet with the dealer in your neighborhood. Thanks so much for joining us, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Leslie.
All right, Miss Segretti, we're heading to Tennessee, and apparently so were the moles to Kim's yard.
What's going on?
Yes, I'm trying to get rid of these moles in my yard. Please help me.
Oof, moles, I feel like in cartoons they were always portrayed as being like super cute, but they are not cute. And boy, can they cause a lot of issues in the yard, especially those star-faced moles. Have you seen them? And I love all creatures and rodents, but I'm very happy for them to go to somebody else's yard. They're not so cute. Baby bunnies, I want to keep them all. But moles, they can go anywhere else. All right, Kim? So let's talk about some ways that we can get these moles to go elsewhere. And I think the issue is that they love something in your lawn, so they're hanging out in your yard, they're eating whatever it is, and generally it's a grub. Those gross little, fat worms, for a better term. They live in the lawn. I mean, that's right, Jim. That's what they look like.
That's what they are, yeah.
And they live in your lawn, and they are a especially tasty treat for moles. And so if they know that they're in your yard, they're all going to come hang out. They're going to eat those grubs. They're going to make those tunnels. Somebody's going to fall and break an ankle, and the moles are going to be like, oh, look, I'm eating this yucky little grub. So what you want to do is get rid of it. And there's definitely a product out there called Grub X, and you put it onto the lawn, and it will make the grubs go away. And then the moles will say, hey, where'd my tasty treat go? And they will go away. So that's really the process here. And it's a nice, humane way to do it and let them bother somebody else.
All right. Well, good. Thank you so much. I'll try the Grub X.
All right. Good luck with that, Kim. Well, drywall repairs are some of the most common home maintenance chores that homeowners have to take on. But if you don't do them right, you're just going to be doing them again and again. Now, the three most common types of drywall repairs needed are nail pops, holes, and cracks. Nail pops are a result from a nail that's kind of loosened up over time and starts to back its way out of the drywall. So to fix that, you simply want to tap that nail in and then drive a new nail right next to it. But you want to make sure that you cover the head of the old nail with the new one so it kind of sucks it tight to the drywall. Then spackle that area, smooth it, allow it to dry really well, sand, and then touch up that area with your paint. Now, you can also use a drywall screw instead of that nail because there's no way that screw is going to back itself out ever. Now, the best way for a homeowner to fix a wall or a ceiling crack is to use a strong perforated drywall tape. Now, this tape has large squares and it kind of looks like sticky netting. You want to apply this first to kind of bridge the gap in the crack, and then smooth a generous amount of spackle or mud over that wall or the ceiling crack. Once the area is dry, you sand it and you repaint it. Now, if you have a big hole in the wall, you don't need a kit. You just need a scrap of drywall, a leftover piece of window screening, and some joint compound, and a few common tools, and that's all it takes. Our favorite patching method includes a great tip. Tom always said this, and it always kind of made me nervous, but he's right. You want to cut the hole to fit the patch and not the other way around. Even if it means making that hole a little bit bigger, this method is virtually foolproof because this way you're really working to create a space that's fixable, repairable, and so it doesn't matter if you have to make it a little bit bigger. Now, here's the trick. When it comes to working with joint compound, it's kind of like an art project. You have to take your time. You want to apply thin coats. You don't want to fuss with it. After 2 or 3 strokes, leave it alone until it's dry. Sand it, paint it. Good as new. It's really a great skill to have, how to sort of patch drywall here. Hopefully you don't have to do it too many times, but if you're good at it, it's just easy to fix. It looks great, and it just saves a lot of time and fuss.
You know that one friend who somehow knows everything about money? Yeah, now imagine they live in your phone. Say hey to Experian, your big financial friend. It's the app that helps you check your FICO score, find ways to save, and basically feel like a financial genius. And guess what? It's totally free. So go on, download the Experian app. Trust me, having a BFF like this is a total game changer.
Psst, your payments are showing. But with Apple Cash, your payments are private by design. There are no public feeds, awkward reactions, or unnecessary payment drama. Apple Cash lets you send cash and messages right in the conversations you're already having. Or, with Tap to Cash, pay someone next to you without looking up a username or scanning a QR code. Just hold your iPhone near someone else's to send. Switch to Apple Cash and start sending privately. Apple Cash services are provided by Green Dot Bank, member FDIC.
All right, Jim, let's get back to our callers. Who's up next?
Now we're going to talk insulation with Albert from Massachusetts. What's going on, Albert?
Well, my house is about 50 years old, and the attic is unused space. It's not very large. It's and it's got minimal insulation. It's just the strips of the
fiberglass insulation.
I'm thinking that it needs more than that, and I'm wondering if I should it be blown in or sprayed on, open cell, closed cell? You have any suggestions on that?
Sure, it's definitely smart to add insulation. You're going to see so many benefits from having, cooler temps when the air conditioning is going, warmer temps when it's heating season. The attic will feel more sort of neutralized temperature-wise. It should mimic the outside. So you have to make sure that you have the correct insulation. So spray foam is an excellent choice if you plan on being in the home for many, many years, because it will expand and then it will seal, and it has a higher R value than a fiberglass insulation. But these kind of things need to be done at very specific times. So like with the spray-in, you would do that if you're making any repairs for the roof or any of the repairs done in the attic, because it kind of gets sprayed to the bottom along the roof rafters. The sheathing there kind of effectively seals your entire attic space. It sort of is sprayed everywhere, but that's kind of a bigger project, but it's a great option. Now, if you're not using the space much, it's probably a good case for blown in as well. But once you do that, you're definitely not going to be able to get around the attic. It'll just have to be covered. And you'll have to continue to ventilate that, because if you use fiberglass insulation, you actually can grow mold on the fiberglass if there's too much moisture and too much humidity. So you kind of still have to remember to get airflow through the attic, whether you're using the blown in or the fiberglass bats. If you go with a spray foam, it's going to kind of seal everything.
Now, with the spray foam, they would have to remove all that old fiberglass rolled out insulation.
Now, it depends. With the spray foam, you don't necessarily have to remove all of that fiberglass insulation. If it's on the floor, say, you can leave it because it's going to just still do its job, because you're not sealing the floor, you're sealing the roof rafters, you're sealing the whole entire area around it. And that spray insulation is going to have to be done by a pro, and they will tell you if you think it's best to sort of remove that rolled bat insulation from the floor. But if they're just doing the roof rafters and that surrounding area of the attic to seal it and not the floor at all, I would leave it in place. You know what? You can head on over to moneypit.com and you can search the guide to insulation. There's a lot of great stories in there. Tom had a lot of experience with the spray foam insulation. I know he had done it in his house, and I'm sure his story is still available online for you to check out. But there's a lot of great ways that you can get a higher insulative value in that space.
I appreciate the call back.
All right. Good luck with that. Thanks again for calling us at 888-MONEY-PIT. Jim and I have some emails that we want to answer this part of the show. Jim, who wrote in?
Well, Tim from New York wrote in, and he said, I'm redoing parts of my kitchen. I want to add a glass tile backsplash. Do I need to...
This sounds way too familiar to me.
Yeah. Do I need to put anything on the wall under that tile, or can I just put adhesive straight on the wall?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could glue it right to the wall. I guess it depends on whether you think you're going to get tired of it, because that's where you're going to get into trouble, right? If you try to take it off the wall, you are going to destroy the wall in the process. So your options are either just go for it and think you could put up with it and love it for forever, or you could put a thin piece of plywood over that area first, like a 1/4 inch, and then glue directly to that. This way, it would be easier to take down in the future. I mean, I love the idea of using the plywood rather than putting it right to the wall, because it's great. You can also do this if you're adding a backsplash, because it doesn't take on that much water. If you're you can use marine, like a waterproof membrane, but it's something like a green board or something like that is more for a shower. But there's definitely ways that you can do this so you're putting it on something that's not destroying the wall, because you may love something now, or you go to sell the house and that person doesn't love it. It makes it easy to change.
Are messy pets creating a decorating dilemma for you? Are you afraid that anything you buy will be ruined by your well-meaning pooch? Well, Leslie has tips to help you get the best of both worlds in today's edition of Leslie's Last Word. Miss Segretti?
Yes. Well, truly, having a pet is great. It's rewarding in so many ways, but they do tend to make a lot of messes, especially when they're little pups or kitties. So you want to make sure that you have things that can stand up to it. You need to create a space that will work for both the people and the pets. So first of all, let's pick up some pet-friendly furniture options. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, it's a chair that's shaped like this. It's the fabric. The fabric is really what you want to go for because you want to make sure that it's going to stand up to their nails or they're rubbing up against it. Or if they're a little dirty, are you able to wipe it clean if they get on it? So there's a lot of ways that you can do that. If you have furniture that you love and you're not replacing anything in the very near future, you can get a pet-proof cover so you don't have to worry about all of that. It kind of just drapes over. It's almost like a slip cover, but it's not fitted to the piece of furniture. So yes, it can be annoying. And if you're like me, you're always going to fuss with it, but it helps to maintain the look of the furniture underneath. When company's over, you just kind of pull it off. If somebody's coming to visit that's allergic to cats, you don't have to worry about the cat hair. So that's great. But if you are redecorating or you're changing things up or you're getting a new piece, look for fabric options like denim, canvas, even outdoor fabrics that are washable, synthetics. You want to find fabrics resistant to odors, stain, moisture, lots of things to consider when you're getting furniture so that it will stand the test of time. Now, if you're thinking about adding a pet washing station to your home, this is great. If you and your dog head out on a rainy day, only you know to wipe your feet before you come back inside. So if you have a mudroom, that's a great spot to install one of these. And a dog washing station is basically like a shower stall, but just for your pooch with a spray hose. It makes all of that rainy, muddy playtime a lot more bearable. Plus, I feel like our dogs always dig in and making a mess. So this is a great way to just wipe their feet off and clean them up before they come back home. If you want some more tips, check out pet-friendly design and decorating for your home on moneypit.com. Thanks so much for spending your first summer weekend with us here at the Money Pit. Give us a call anytime at 888-MONEY-PIT so we can take this home improvement adventure together. Coming up next week, adding a backyard deck is one surefire way to increase your home's living space. But if you're not careful, it's easy to make some costly mistakes. We're going to show you what you need to avoid when building the deck of your dreams. Thanks again, everybody. Remember, you can do it yourself, but you don't have to do it alone.
On the Money Pit Radio Show. On the Money Pit Radio Show. Pick up the telephone.
Fix up your home sweet home by calling 888-MONEY-PIT.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles McKenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip. When it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.